So hello everybody, welcome to the webinar by Teamily. We're first going to do a little technical test. Looking over here at my support. Matt, do you see what you need to see?
I don't see anything.
Can you hear stuff? Can you hear me? This is the first time we're doing the webinar, so we did some trial runs, but the live one is always different.
Live actually starts from.
Okay. I am presenting. Test 1, 2, 3, test 1, 2, 3. Anybody hear me? Can you chat if you hear me? Can you chat to me, please, Matt? Let's see, maybe I'm in the wrong Hangout. We'll begin in 12 minutes. So we're testing here. Yes, I have a hit. And I hear myself and I see you. Okay, I'm just going to start this because I think
you need to press something on start. I don't see it. Just still says live video editing starts opening. Can you see me?
I saw you. So we're going to start right now. Is one little. Okay, everybody. We're just going to start because I think we're ready. You still okay? You still can't see me. I don't know if anybody else can see me. I am sharing. I am broadcasting. So here, everything is a go. Links. I'm gonna. This is what I see. This is a different link than that one. No, it's the same link.
Yeah, broadcasting there.
Go here.
Viewers 0.
Yeah. Can you go to this one? Okay, 3 minutes in the test.
Yeah.
Okay, test 1, 2, 3, go. Do we have a go? Our man op de knoppen, Matt?
It's coming.
Yes.
So I can't. Oh no. See YouTube video. Yes, I see your screen.
Good. I have 0 viewers here still, so that is not working. I'm waiting for you. Can you see anything?
I see the screen, but
Okay. Well, that's good.
I didn't hear sound.
Did you see the screen change?
Oh wait, unmute. Yes.
Good. And audio, I see that I am broadcasting audio. Is your audio on?
zit een delay in van een paar minuten.
Yeah, of course. Okay. I'm just going to start now. Okay, 5 minutes in. Hello, everybody. This is the webinar from Teamily, the operating system for teams. Today, we're going to talk about Deloitte's human capital report with a key trend, the rise of teams. And we're going to not just discuss that, we're also going to tell you how you can implement that with Teamily. The program is that right now we're going to do is the introduction, the program, what we're going to talk about. Then we're going to go into Deloitte's Human Capital Trend Report 2016. What are they saying? What are they thinking? And how does this relate to Teamily? Next up, after say 10 minutes, we're going to talk to you about how you can use Teamily for your teams. And lastly, we're going to open up for questions and answers. So first off, who am I? I'm Martin Lens-FitzGerald, co-founder of Teamily, together here with Matt Draaij, also co-founder. And together we'll be doing this little show for you. Let's go start with the report. So at the last day of February, the Global Human Capital Trends Report 2016 came out under the theme, The New Organization, Different by Design. This is a report they do annually. And this time they interviewed more than 7,000 HR and business leaders from over 130 countries around the world. And the executive editors, Jeff Swartz and Bill Pelster, did a great job here. And this is, of course, why we initiated this webinar. They really took a good look at all the trends and all the things that these business leaders and HR professionals are working on or are seeing. And they made a good report out of it. And we saw this and we were inspired because it really linked us up to what we were doing with Teamily. And a key quote here is that executives see a need to redesign the organization itself, with 92% of survey participants rating this as a critical priority. So the redesign of the organization is what they really see as important. And the new organization, as Deloitte calls it, is built around highly empowered teams driven by a new model of management. Wait a minute, this is exactly like Teamily, isn't it? Well, that's what we thought. And again, this is why we're doing this webinar. So what did they see? Well, first off, if we zoom out a little with them, they see 4 drivers of change leading to the human capital trends. First off, there are the demographic upheavals. Millennials are now over 50% of the workforce, while baby boomers are being challenged to adapt to these new roles as mentors or even sometimes subordinates if the millennials get a job or a position a little bit higher than these baby boomers. And also global teams give rise to diversity within these teams with new cultures, different cultures, and different styles of working, and they all have to make it work. The second trend is that digital technologies everywhere. So disruptive business models and new technologies are changing everything in the workspace. It's not just social media and mobile. It's that changes how we communicate, recruit, or work together. But it's also like Internet of Things, 3D printing and manufacturing, or even innovative companies that are using design thinking or other modern ways to work to change the work experience. This weekend, I read a great article about vibe management. So literally people that are hired in these modern innovative organizations whose sole responsibility is to look after the vibe of the team, of the organization. The third trend or driver for the trends is the accelerated rate of change. This is one you often hear in any innovation context, but it is true and it remains true, and it's so hard to grasp for some people. The pace of business as a whole is accelerating extremely fast due to the new technology capabilities in all areas. This propels business models innovation, and which is forcing incumbents like any old company, to change faster than ever before. And if you don't keep up, I don't know, you know what's going to happen. The need for a responsive organization is imperative for any organization to not become the next Kodak. And lastly, a key driver is the new social contract. Major changes in the employee relationship. Young people expect to work for many employers instead of one career at one organization. So an organization today has to deal with contingent, contract, and part-time workers, because they make almost up 1/3 of the workforce. But who is up for this? Are these companies, most of them, what Deloitte sees, lack the HR practices, the culture or leadership to support this new workforce, yet they have to work with it. So these are the 4 key drivers of change leading to the human capital trend. And the number one trend that Deloitte sees is the organizational design trend, the rise of teams. As companies strive to become more agile, customer-focused, organizations are shifting their structures from traditional functional models towards interconnected, flexible teams. In numbers, 92% of companies believe that redesigning the organization is very important or important. This is what they found out in the research with over 7,000 people answering questions. So what do they see in the rise of teams? What are the 3 things that they recognize? Well, first off, it starts with less functional structures. Many companies have already moved away from functional structures. Only 30% of all companies and 25% of large companies, meaning 50,000 or more employees, are functionally organized today. So a lot of people are already working on new forms of organization. Next to that, there's the demographical and market responsiveness. The growth of the millennial demographic, the diversity of global teams, and the need to innovate and work more closely with customers are driving a new organizational flexibility amongst high-performing companies. Because, they see the need. They are operating as a network of teams alongside traditional structures, with people moving from team to team rather than remaining in their static formal configurations. And in the end, restructuring is the name of the game. Over 80% of respondents to this year's global survey report said that they are either currently restructuring their organization or have recently completed the process. And only 7% say they have no plans to restructure. So these are the 3 main pillars on which they build their trend of the rise of teams. So less functional structures is what people are working on. The demographical and market responsiveness that they need to adhere to, and already they are doing it themselves. It's just an observation of activity. And if you look at the rise of teams and zoom out a little, where does it start? Well, a really nice, and this is more of an addition of ourselves in Deloitte, a really nice start is that when you look at why are we organized the way we are, well, it starts with Frederick Taylor, who mostly worked almost 2 centuries ago. In the mid-1800s, he was born. And he's the leading proponent of scientific management, also called Taylorism, a theory of management that analyzes and synthesizes workflows. So basically, he was the first who looked at a process, say in a factory, and saw all these craftsmen doing all these jobs, and he saw, well, what if I break down everything into minute tasks and see what the optimal way of doing that task is, and then make them do it? That way I can get hyper efficiency. Basically, he turned these craftsmen into robots. But back then, you could get so much efficiency out of that, that people really loved it and embraced it. And this, some people say, has more influence on how we work today than the economist Keynes. Its main objective of scientific management is improving economic efficiency, especially labor productivity. Yet it's also the origin of the functional and hierarchical structure that we know, that we all grew up in if you worked at any organization. The role of the manager telling you what to do because he knows best. And you just doing your task as you're told. I mean, this is all due to Frederick Taylor. And this also results into silos, so people working next to each other, but maybe for different departments and not really knowing what the other is doing. That really need to know culture and the lack of cooperation throughout the whole organization. And this is, of course, the challenge and what the trend of the rise of teams answers. So Deloitte really has a great book that they use, and it's called A Team of Teams by General Stanley McChrystal. And in the book, he describes how the U.S. military's hierarchical command and control structure, aka the awesome machine. So imagine just the might of the military machine of the U.S., how well they are organized, because they have been at it for over 100 years, optimizing with so much money their awesome machine. So they came to Iraq. They needed to fight Al-Qaeda and fight a war. And this awesome machine was exactly that was making them lose. It hindered their operational success during the early stages of the Iraq War. And in the book, General Stanley McChrystal really sees Al-Qaeda disrupt his army and win battles because they weren't in tune. literally the awesome machine was not up to fighting the modern structured Al-Qaeda. And what's really interesting, he was able to change it. The US military's hierarchical command and control structure was able to adapt to a dramatic solution. He decentralized authority to highly trained and empowered teams, so different teams working independently, and developed a real-time information operations group to centralize information and provide all teams with real-time accurate data about war activities everywhere. They called it the team of teams. So he was able to organize all these different structures, the NSA, the CIA, the SEAL teams, the Rangers, all these different groups who are used to working for themselves and not with others, definitely not intertwined as he needed to in order to fight this new war, but he was able to. And again, they called it the team of teams. This is an amazing book. We really recommend you reading it. And he not only did he change the formal, or he did not change the formal structure of the military, he created a new structure that allowed for dynamicism and flexibility within the overall organizational structure. So it fit in with what they already had. This new structure enabled the officers to quickly move from their administrative positions to mission-oriented projects for a set purpose, for a limited amount of time, knowing that they would once return to within their larger organizational structure after the mission was completed. So it was flexible. And that again, I really like what he did here, because he was able to work within the large structure of the military and create something to be responsive to the need of the situation, and something very complex. And this is something that Taylor, of course, never foresaw. And you can see it as an evolution in that sense of organizational theory. And here's just a little visualization that he uses in the book. I made some screenshots. So on the left, you see the command structure that we all know. And this is, of course, exactly the same in any organization, any corporate culture. This is how you've learned to organize yourself within a company. Heck, I even try to do that in my startup. And command of teams this is where you see, well, okay, there's different structures, different types of organizations within my organization, but I'm going to separate them because I need to understand that, and manage them separately as the director, for instance. This is a command of teams. So still, this is not really as flexible and as smart as you want it. And then you come to the team of teams. So this is literally everything mixed up. Now imagine this. Can you ever imagine doing this in your organization? Even for me, this is hard. But this is really what is needed if you want to be responsive to the market, to the needs, to the competitive situation that your company needs to answer. So what does Deloitte see as a way to get this going? So they discern 7 principles for the rise of teams. And I'm going to skip this due to time because I'm seeing that I'm going a little bit late. I really do want to focus on the 2 factors driving the rise of teams. So first off, why is this happening? So it's about the market pressure to get new products to markets and workforce empowerment. So that is making the small teams a more natural, productive way to work. So it's a need of the market, and that is answering the market. So small teams can deliver results faster, engage people better, and stay closer to their mission. And the other thing is that the digital revolution is helping us. It helps teams stay aligned. They can easily, or teams can easily use web or mobile apps to share goals, keep up to date on customer interactions, communicate product quality or brand issues, build a common culture. This is what Slack does. And rather than having to send messages up and down the command pyramid, people can access information immediately. So this is really what drives the rise of teams. So this is the end of the little Deloitte highlight. And I really touched shortly on it, and I really am thankful for Deloitte for making this report available. Please use these links to find the report or find a specific article, Organizational Structure, The Rise of Teams, which we quoted a lot here, if you want to read up more, and if you, for instance, want to go into the 7 principles, which I just skipped. And now let's move on to how Teamily really comes into play. Because Teamily is exactly what you can use, and that helps you going on the rise of teams. That helps you implement a team of teams. And why we are here, why we what our purpose is, we want to help teams be successful. It's our ambition that through the use of technology, we together discover how to realize the dreams of teams, creating progress for the world. And what we saw, why we started working on this, we saw a change from standardized routine works around jobs, in a way the Taylorism tasks and jobs within a functional hierarchical structure, to unique creative work around flexible roles where you jump in and out of teams. And this is the change that we with Teamily want to enable, want to be the lubricant for, if you will. And we have a name for this. We call it a teamarchy. So of course we know a hierarchy where the entity is the organization. Well, in a teamarchy, it's the team that's the entity. And the hierarchy, you commit to a job. The job is what you're going to do. It's a functional job. I'm an accountant. I'm a cleaner. I'm a teller. And teamarchy, you have roles. And the cool thing about roles is that you can change it. So this is where your flexibility already starts. And on hierarchy, the purpose is stability. You want to know what's going to happen next. You want to control it. This is, again, what Taylorism, it's about making sure that you can predict what happens next and control it even. Where teamarchy, you want to be able to change all the time, because that's what really works in a responsive market. And if you look at the dynamics of a hierarchy, it's input, output. It's very simple. You know what you put in and you know what you're going to get out. And with a teamarchy, it's about emergence. The right thing will come up at the right moment. And if you look at governance, in a hierarchy, the top decides. Management knows what's best, and you trust them, hopefully. With teamarchy, it's about self-steering teams. So the teams know what to do, and they have the power to do it themselves. And what we did at Teamily is we looked at a lot of change theories, from Eastern systems to modern things like Lean Startup and Theory U, to psychological profiling like MBTI and Belbin, or even Leary's Rose, Cameron Quinn, or DISCs, and even Jung archetypes. And we mapped this to 16 universal roles and 16 general sequential project stages. And this is what we use, what lies underneath our way of working. And if you really want to know what is Teamily, well, Teamily instantly enables strong self-steering and cross-functional teams within hierarchical organizations. So instantly, this works in your organization. It is a lightweight way of working, so it's more about a way of working, supported by software. So the software is there to help you, but it's the way of working that you embrace. We have 7 principles that really help you get the way of working going. Without a problem, there is no team. So you really need a problem to work with the team. Every project has these 16 stages that you go through, and they work in every project. And the key thing is that there's only one driver per project stage. So we say that every driver or every stage can have a different driver if need be, based on psychological fit. Or even fit that because you have time or you want to do that certain stage. And the key thing is that the drivers get picked, don't get picked, but step up. So again, maybe it's the machine says that a certain driver may be a good fit, but right now that person is very busy. So that's when somebody else steps up. You know what? I should do it because I feel I want to. And another thing is that every stage deserves the best driver. And this is, again, where you step up because, sometimes it's better to have the other driver. And drivers are always supported. This means that the rest of the team is supporting that driver. And people can always step in and out of teams. This is where, again, the flexibility comes in. So what can you do with Teamily? First off, you compose balanced, better teams. Balanced and effective teams is what you do with ease using the project power roles. These are the roles that you form based on your personal profile. And you can invite team members easily to work efficiently using clearly and defined roles and steps. I'll show this in a minute. So here you see our project screen. On the left, you see the members mapped on how they map at a certain stage. In the middle, you see where you are in the many or in the 16 stages. And on the right, you see what is the task at hand or the challenge at hand. And literally, it's just a question that you need to fill out. You also perform better as a team. So you work effectively as a well-established team using clear roles and clear steps. So you know who's the driver, you know that you're supportive, or if you're the driver that you're not. And you have each project stage led by the best equipped person, the driver. And take on complex problems, improve quality, and create next level solutions using this. So here again, you have this cockpit view, as we call it, where on the left you see the team, in the middle again you see where you're at, and on the right the task at hand, the challenge at hand. So in this case, you can see that we're at the interact phase with Teamily as a company. And what we need to do is that we're getting, it's about getting the market attracted towards our product, literally where we're doing this webinar. And then one of the cool feature, and I'm just going to go straight to the screen, is that when you zoom out, you can have an overview of all your projects, and you can see what's going on, if there is a driver in a project, and where that project is at. So this is a way to keep tabs on all your projects. And lastly, this is the part where you really start with Teamily, and that is your personal profile. So we map people based on 4 questions on how they fit to the different project profiles. Project stages. So for instance, I'm a connector, meaning that I'm really good at getting people interested at working on a problem. Also, I'm a good, I can work really well on vision. I can challenge well. I can do some good at the evangelism. And literally everybody has a description like this. And we start out with the Jungian profile, because that's where this is based on, or MBTI. But as the more you use Teamily, the more this is based on what you have done within your project. And of course, we have help. We have a Teamily tutorial, which gives you an overview of how it works and what you can do with it. Just on the top right, you can see training. That's where you select this option to read up on how it works. One of our key customers that we started with, and really is a big fan and has a useful, or is really using as well, is ABN AMRO, which is a large bank here in Holland. And basically, as he says, we achieve next level results because of Teamily. And if you're interested in this, please go to the video on Vimeo, use this link and use the password Teamily to see what he has to say and how well he's using Teamily. So if you're thinking like, well, okay, I want to try this out, but will it work in me? Well, what we already see in our experience is that it works well in innovation teams, in responsive, so temporarily teams or HR environments. So responsive we mean like there is a problem. For instance, in your sales team, you see that your results are down. You're going to form a team to work on that. So responsive to a certain need, and that is not really foreseen by the hierarchical functional structure. This is what you then do. This is when you use Teamily. And with HR environment, this is where we talk about, like, you're really working from the people angle. And yeah, there's lots of interpretations for this. And secondly, a key thing is that you are willing to try a new way of working. You really want to make some room and take time in doing so. That's when you're ready to do Teamily. Next to that, it works well in new teams, so you haven't worked together before. That's where Teamily really lands well. Also, cross-functional teams, so teams that are not structured in a standard normal functional way. So you have somebody from marketing, somebody from sales, somebody from a whole different department, and all of a sudden you have to work together. That's where you use Teamily. Also for self-steering teams, so teams that really need to decide for themselves. Also with teams with in-house as well as external members, so people from outside the company, and quickly you need to get up to speed and have a way of working and find literally direction in your project. Lastly, or second to last, there's teams that are stuck, so teams that really are looking for help. That's where Teamily can also really have a benefit. And of course, Teamily is useful when teams has management that doesn't really know as much as the team. This is, for instance, the case with ABN AMRO. He had to lead a team, but he's like, my team members themselves know better than I do what to do when. And with Teamily, he found the right way to do this. So if you're looking to work with us, we have a simple pilot setup that really works well. It starts with an intake or fit determination. So together we determine, like, hey, we think Teamily will actually land well, will work well within this context. We have a problem that works, and we'd like to try it out. So then we will make a deal and close it, a contract, to really make sure that we both commit the time, the services, and whatever else is needed. And that mostly works the following, and that is that we deliver a team training where we train your team on the Teamily way of working. So you know the rules, the systems, and how to use everything, and how to do the ritual, if you will. And then you start working with it. Team operations, supported by Teamily software. So you start just running your project using our software as a guide. We do regular check-ins to see what's up and how's it going. Every quadrant, so every 4 project stages, we come by and evaluate how's it going. It really takes some time to dive deep in if you're getting what you're needed. And after that, depending on when you end your project, we do a closure meeting and yeah, discuss with you how you liked it and if you want to continue. So with that, we'd like to close this webinar. It was a lot of information, but I hope you liked it. It's our first, so we're really happy. If you want to know more, if you want to engage with us, please contact me, Martin Lens-FitzGerald, at martin@teamily.com, or Matt Dreyer, who's is at the controls right next to me, and Matt@teamily.com. Our phone numbers are here as well. And again, thank you for listening.
Did you ask?